Hey, welcome back. It's Jason Walter here. So one of our leading indicators of our housing market is pending home sales. This is when a home seller accepts an offer from a home buyer and a contract is signed. A pending home sale is a leading indicator because it takes approximately 30 days from contract signing to when the home sale finalizes. Therefore, to get a glimpse into the future about our housing market, it's very important to track pending home sales. In any case, I have some encouraging news for home buyers out there because the National Association of Realtors posted April's pending home sale numbers today. They reported that pendings actually decreased by 4.5% from March. And by the way, I'm not even going to mention year-over-year data because our housing market was more or less on lockdown a year ago. So I'm throwing those numbers out the window. In any case, what I found very intriguing in this report and also articles that I read online is that many are blaming the lack of houses for sale for this decrease of pending home sales. In other words, if there's half as many houses for sale, then one would expect pending home sales and sales to decrease. That makes perfect sense. But let's have a closer look at this because I found something very different, so I'd love to know your thoughts about this. And by the way, if you get any value out of this video, then please hit the like button and also consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. I post housing market updates on a frequent basis so you can make a more informed decision about whether you should buy or sell a house right now. Okay, thank you so much for doing that, and let's go ahead and dive right into the video. Okay, let me first share this report from the National Association of Realtors that was just posted today, and then I'll share my thoughts regarding this. Lawrence Yun, who's NAR's chief economist, stated the following: contract signings, which are pending home sales, are approaching pre-pandemic levels after the big surge due to the lack of sufficient supply of affordable houses. All right, so overall, pending home sales in the US decreased by 4.5%. But let's have a look how each of the four major regions in the US fared. In the Northeast, pending home sales decreased by 12.9% in April. In the Midwest, the pending home sale index increased 3.5% last month. And pendings in the South fell by 6.1%, and in the West, they decreased by 2.6% in April. According to the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, the Midwest region, which has the most affordable homes, was the only region to notch a gain in the latest month. Some buyers from the expensive cities in the West and Northeast who have the flexibility to move and work from anywhere could be opting for a larger size home at a lower price in the Midwest. So of course, the big question is, why did pending home sales in the US overall decrease last month? Isn't the housing market soaring? In my opinion, the dip of pending home sales could be a factor of one or two things or both. So number one, we have near historically low inventory. If we have less houses available for sale, that would make sense that pending home sales would decrease as well. Or number two, the dip of pending home sales could be due to slowing buyer demand. Let's dive right into this because I have a lot to share regarding this. So if you missed my video from the other day, I reported that sales of existing houses actually decreased 2.7% in April. In that report, it stated that housing inventory of existing houses, meaning not new houses, were at near record low levels. However, inventory actually increased 10.5% from March into April. In addition, unsold inventory increased to a 2.4 month supply at the current sales pace, and that was slightly up from March's 2.1 month supply. Additionally, housing supply has actually been increasing for 2 straight months, albeit at a slow rate, but it's still increasing. In contrast, home sales have actually decreased for 3 straight months. So here's my question for you. Shouldn't home sales increase when inventory increases as well, especially if home buyer demand is so strong? Let me first share a disclaimer regarding this, and then I have something else to share with you to help support this notion. So let's not get ahead of ourselves and say that the housing market is crashing. This is definitely a short-term trend right now, but let's see if this becomes a long-term trend. But this is very encouraging news for homebuyers out there who are looking for inventory to increase and of course prices to decrease. I don't want to give your hopes up though, so let's see if this trend continues. If it does, that could mean that home buyer demand is decreasing and home prices could decrease as well. What I also noticed for April was that new home sales actually decreased even though inventory of new houses increased. This chart shows the seasonally adjusted rate of new home sales in the US. We started this year in January on a high note, but the rate of new home sales has more or less been decreasing since then. In April, new home sales actually decreased by 5.9% from the previous month. But let's have a look at housing inventory in April, because one would assume if new home sales decreased, then housing inventory should decrease as well. Here's the latest report for new home sales in the US from the US Census Bureau for April this year. The month's supply of new houses actually increased 10% from March to April. In addition, the number of new homes for sale at the end of April increased by 3.9%. So what in the world is going on, right? We have sales that are decreasing, yet inventory is increasing. And keep this in mind, a new home sale is defined as when a builder signs a contract with a home buyer. So in other words, it acts more like a pending home sale. All right, so let me quickly summarize what we discussed so far, because that was a lot. So sales of existing houses actually decreased 3 months in a row, even though inventory of existing houses has increased for 2 straight months. In addition, pending home sales of existing houses actually decreased, even though inventory increased. In addition, new home sales decreased, even though inventory of new houses went up. On top of this, mortgage applications for home purchases is another leading indicator of our housing market. And guess what? After a giant increase of mortgage applications for home purchases in 2020, so far this year, applications for home purchases are down. So are we starting to see a slowing of buyer demand, or is this just a temporary trend? Time will tell, and I'll be sure to keep you posted. In the meantime, home prices are at record highs on average in the US and in California, and homes are selling faster than they ever have before. But is that changing? I would love to hear your thoughts regarding this, so please leave me a comment below. And real quick, I want to say thank you for all your support on the channel. I started the channel about 1.5 years ago, and it was my original intention to respond to every single comment on the channel. But I'm finding it becoming more challenging to do that, given that the channel is growing so much. So I want to do a live YouTube video in about a week. I want to do this on the week of June 7th. So leave me a comment below with any times or days that you have a preference on, and that way I can answer all of your questions. And if you enjoyed watching this video, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And also consider subscribing as well. You also can follow me on Instagram. I'm Sacramento Realtor. Hope you have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.